Okay, Shalom. All praise to Yahweh Bahashim and Ashai. Double honors to the apostles of GMS. Salutations and greetings to the brothers in this country and all over the world who are scattered abroad, prophesying in the name of the Heavenly Father and truth. All right, in the spirit of Yahweh Bahashim and Ashai. My name is Yaikwab.
Ahmad Yala.
Okay, from the GMS camp, New York. And we want to do, as the theme is amongst Israel, and that's given down from the order given down from the elders, apostles, which is overall from the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai, is that we're attacking, Christianity, and anything against the Bible overall, anyway. You know what I mean? So basically, anything that the prophets bring out is always going to debunk Christianity. The so-called white man is always going to debunk everything against the truth, because the Most High, the scriptures, prophecies, the Most High's prophets, we prophesy truth. And with that, of course, we will tackle and debunk and embarrass the whole Christian doctrine. Okay, and one of the topics we're going to come with today is UFOs. Okay, that the UFOs, which is stands for unidentified, is totally false. All right, it's identified and known by Israelites. Furthermore, the elect, and furthermore, the camps of today, present day. A true man of the Lord should know that UFOs have a name in the scriptures, and they're known as chariots. They're known as doves. They're known as a fiery wheel. The chariots in the scriptures, or so-called UFO in the scriptures, have many names. Okay? All right, and we're going to show the proof through the scriptures on that. All right? So again, the Most High's vehicle, or the UFOs are the Most High's vehicles that are in outer space. Okay? That travel the universe. Okay? And the churches, they don't bring that out, They don't bring out the truth of the UFOs, and once again, this is very important information, man. That a man of the Lord, or that he should be bringing out, and is very important information for any Israelite seeking to be saved. Needs to know about the chariots, man. Because why? That's where you're going to be saved in. You know what I mean? So this is heavy, man. You have to know about the chariots. None of these churches are talking about the so-called UFOs, that they're actually vehicles of the Most High. All right, and we're going to do that today. So, anyway, first scripture is, we got, get 2 Kings 2 and 11. 2 Kings 2 All right. And basically what we're going to do, we're just going to read out random scriptures to show that there are UFOs in the scriptures, all right? So-called UFOs. Really IFOs to us, like we always say, identified flying objects. We know what they are, and we know who's in them. Not no big-headed aliens that are really demons, all right? But it's really Israelites in those chariots. Okay.
Okay, I got the scripture. 2 Kings 2 and 11. And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire, and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder, and Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven.
Okay, start from 9.
Start from 9?
Yeah.
Okay, 2 Kings 2 and 9. And it came to pass, when they were gone over, that Elijah said unto Elisha, ask what I shall do for thee, before I be taken away from thee.
Yeah, so it says, and it came to pass when they were gone over that Elijah said unto Elisha. All right, now. All right, so now Elijah was a student of Elisha, all right, or vice versa. I'm sorry, I'm going to read it again. But basically, this is the incident where Elijah was beamed up into a chariot. All right. Keep reading, Salak. Keep reading.
And Elisha said, I pray thee, let a double portion of thy spirit be upon me. And he said, Thou hast asked a hard thing. Nevertheless, if thou see me when I am taken from thee, it shall be so unto thee. But if not, it shall not be so. And it came to pass, as they still went on, and I talked that, behold, there appeared a chariot of fire, and the horses of fire, and parted them both asunder, and Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven.
Okay, one more time, Salak. We'll start from the top again.
Okay. 2 Kings 2 and 9. And it came to pass, when they were gone over, that Elijah said unto Elisha, Ask what I shall do for thee, before I be taken away from thee.
Yeah, so Elijah was asking Elisha, which Elisha was Elijah's student. He was his pupil. Okay? He was under him. He was his student. All right? And Elijah was obviously a prophet of the Lord. And it was one of two prophets, or two, that were translated, and which translated means that they didn't see death. They were translated in, or another, a normal term you can understand is what's that movie? Star Trek. When the term is beam me up, Scotty. Mm-hmm. Okay, when you're beamed up,
took his whole body.
It took his whole body. So this is what Elijah, that's what we're reading to you now, this whole incident where he was actually beamed up or translated into a so-called UFO, what you people call today, but in the scriptures it's called the chariot. All right, and before he got beamed up, he asked Elisha, his student, what anything you want from me, or you want to ask me before I get beamed up, because Elijah knew he was being beamed up, he was going to get translated soon. He knew his time was coming. And for you to get beamed up and translated, you're basically like the perfect prophet, man. You know, he was one of the most perfect prophets. You know, and he's one of the few prophets, I think only one of the two that did not see death, which means he didn't die in this side. Because really, technically, the only way to leave this realm, earth realm, is you have to die, right, to go up to the spiritual world. There's no other way. You know, you can't take a ticket there, a bus there, whatever. Right. You have to die to go into the spiritual realm. Now, in this case, he didn't die. He was translated. He was beamed up. So when he was beamed up into the chariot, you know, his body changed too when he was beamed up in there. You can't bring your mortal body inside of a chariot either. It has to be changed. You know, because the chariots of God are totally spiritual. So, okay, keep reading.
Before I be taken away from thee. And Elisha said, I pray thee, let a double portion of thy spirit be upon me.
Yeah, so when Elisha said, he's like, oh man, he didn't want his master to leave, his teacher, you know, Elijah, which in a good example of today, our masters or our teachers today would be our apostles, you know, same scenario, you know, so basically Elijah was an elder or an apostle onto Elisha, and Elisha asked, look, I want your spirit but double, you know what I mean? And on another subject, which is the same thing, he actually got that wish. He actually he actually got that prayer. The Most High answered his prayer and gave him the spirit of Elisha but double, you know? So that's what he asked him. Keep going.
And he said, Thou hast asked a hard thing. Nevertheless, if thou see me when I am taken from thee, it shall be so unto thee. But if not, it shall not be so. Mm-hmm. And it came to pass, as they still went on, and I talked that, behold, there appeared a chariot of fire.
See, a chariot of fire. Okay? And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, as Elisha and Elijah are talking, you know, and he knows his time is coming. Elijah, he knows his time is coming. A chariot came out of nowhere. All right, read that again. Read it.
Okay. And it came to pass, as they still went on, and I talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire, and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven.
See, and that's plain. Matter of fact, when you get a chance, can you look up chariot? You know how to use the blue letter?
Yeah.
If you can. If you can, it's no big deal. Look up chariot. You know, this is 2 Kings 2:11. See what comes up. Just for education. You can look at whirlwind too. But anyway, it says and appeared a chariot of fire. Okay? Now it just tells you there. Now you know when the scriptures were when the Bible or when the scriptures were written, the ancient scriptures were written, and the prophets wrote them down. They wrote down actually what they saw, and they applied what they saw to the stuff they knew around their time of living and their age. All right. It wouldn't say I saw a spaceship, right? Because they don't know what a spaceship is. It wouldn't say I saw something that looked like an iPhone. Or I saw something that looked like a VCR because it didn't exist. They're going to describe things according to their time. So when this happened, it described the so-called UFO as a chariot of fire. Okay? Now the brother's going to pull up what chariot is in a moment, but it said, there appeared a chariot of fire. So not only do you see a chariot, which a chariot is a vehicle of transportation, you know, okay? It said it saw a chariot, but it was on fire. What else could that be? All right? And not only, it doesn't stop there. It says, and horses of fire. So describe so-called UFOs looking like horses on fire. And then it says, and parted them both asunder, which means it separated Elijah and them, you know, Elijah and Elisha. It shall be so unto, like it said, and parted them asunder, and Elijah went up, okay? Elijah went up, all right? He went up by a whirlwind into heaven, all right? A whirlwind is kind of like a tornado or like something that spins in a circle, all right? That's another name for a chariot, okay? Whirlwind, a dove, a chariot on fire, okay? Clouds, all right? A fiery, fiery chariot too. All these, or excuse me, pillars of fire. There's many different or cherubims too. There's many different names for the term used today, UFOs, in the scriptures, man. My question is, why doesn't the church bring this out? Because it's very vital to know about the chariots and the UFOs in the Bible, which are chariots, because you're going to be saved by those vehicles. You're going to be, when all hell breaks loose in these last days, destruction, how the hell do you think we're going to be saved out of here? We would have to be away from the destruction. So the only way the Israelites, the elect is going to be saved is from the chariots getting beamed up. Okay?
Is this the right, I'm trying to look for this.
All right.
It's not, the meaning is not coming up.
Okay, well, you can't, right there, chariot, chariot, and you go to Kings. See if you can see Kings on here. Look for Kings.
Kings.
Yeah. All right. All right.
2 Kings 5:26.
Yeah, 2 Kings 2 and 11.
2 and 11.
Yeah, con. All right. Well, you know what? We'll keep moving on.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We can't look it up now. Can you find it?
Nah, I don't see it.
All right. So we'll keep moving on. So the next one. All right. Let's go to 6 and 17. All right. 2 Kings 6 and 17. So that was one proof to show you that that there is so-called UFOs in the Bible that are and in this one we just pointed out what was called the chariot. All right. So you can't deny that. All right. Now bring that to your pastor, your greasy-head pastor in the church, and tell him to break that down to you, right? 2 Kings 2 and 11. Ask your pastor about UFOs. Ask him if UFOs are in the Bible. See what he says. If he says no, you know he's not a man of the Lord. All right? He's been exposed. Got it? All right. Yeah. 6 and 17.
2 Kings 6 and 17. And Elisha prayed and said, Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see. And the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw. And behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire, round about Elisha.
Okay, that's another one. Now this is Elisha now, and now he's describing what he's seen in the distance. This is Elisha praying. Okay, and he saw. It says, "Behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha." So he's just naming an incident where he was surrounded by so-called UFOs or chariots, so to speak. Okay. All right. So that's another script proving that there's UFOs in the scriptures. Go to Psalm 68:17. All right. So actually go to Isaiah 66. Let's go to Isaiah 66 and 15 real quick. Again, we're just going to read random scriptures to prove that there's UFOs in the Bible, okay? And they're not called UFOs in the scriptures. All right.
66 and 15?
Yeah.
All right. Isaiah 66 and 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire.
Yeah, so it says, you understand that script? Can you break that down?
Yeah, he's going to come like a
whirlwind. I'm going to look up something.
He's going to come like a whirlwind with chariots of fire, meaning he's going to come with them thermonuclear missiles.
Yeah, well, he's coming. The chariots represent the UFOs.
Right, the chariot. Right. The U.S. first. Right, it's going to come later on after he brings those missiles. But those chariots that's coming is coming to render his people, to gather up his elect.
Okay.
You know the ones that have been prophesying, that was crying out, sighing, praying. You know, going through so much hell on this earth, going through all the trials and tribulations of this wicked kingdom. He's going to come to deliver his people.
Fine. Go to click. I'm going to bring out this definition. So try to all you gotta do is click on chariot. Look for Psalms. Excuse me. Go to Isaiah 66 and 15, and you gotta click on chariot. Yeah, you know how to use it, and then you click on. The Strong's Concordance. All right, you know, use it or
I'm not really.
Okay.
I'm just waiting. Okay.
All right, we'll go back to. All right, so again it says, "For behold, the Lord will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire." All right, so it says, obviously the Lord's going to come back with fire. Now we all know what that means. He's going to come back with the so-called UFOs. Just like in that movie, the greatest example we always use is Independence Day.
Right.
With Will Smith, they got that imagery from the scriptures. But the only thing is that the image that they have is totally is off, because nothing will compare to the actual image or what you will see when the Lord literally comes back, man. But that's just to give you an idea of what the return of the Lord will be. It will be literally like IB4 or Independence Day.
And they're going to cover the whole skies.
Yeah, it's going to cover the whole skies, man. It says, all eyes shall see. All eyes will see the Lord.
You can't miss it.
The Lord's come back. Yeah, you won't miss it, Okay, and not only does it mention that, it says the Lord will come with fire and with his chariots, okay? So the Lord's come back with his chariots. Okay, he's come back it says with chariots like a whirlwind. Again, we described to you what a whirlwind is. A whirlwind is a kind of like a whirlwind's like a tornado, but it's something that spins like something circular, spinning in a circle around. And when you look at certain images on the YouTube, you could look it up in YouTube land over there. Type in UFO sightings, type in chariot sightings, whatever. And you'll see many examples of unidentified flying objects looking like a circle that's on fire, or something that's glowing. Or it looks like what is described here. You know? Something on fire. Okay? That was it for that one?
Yeah.
Matter of fact, let's go to the actual comeback of the Lord. Let's go to 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter. All right? Let's get it quick, fast. All right? 2nd Ezra, 13th chapter. All right? Talking about the comeback of the Lord. Okay? When Ezra described the Lord, and the Apocrypha. All right? It describes the comeback of the Lord. All right? And he describes it looking like a mountain. The chariot that he was riding on, or the so-called UFO that the Lord was riding on. All right? He described it as a big mountain. He was looking for the mountain that was removed from Earth, because that's what he thought. He thought, whoa, wait a minute. Is there a big piece of Earth that has been removed? And he looked, and he didn't see any. He looked around. He said everything was still intact. So he said that this image I'm seeing has to be a UFO, a chariot of the Most High, and it was. And guess who we saw in it? The Lord. Now we're about to get the account. Go to 2nd Ezra, 13.
13.
Yeah. 13, all right. Start from verse 3. All right, 2nd Ezra 13:3, right here.
13:3.
Yeah.
Second Ezra 13:3. And I beheld.
Matter of fact, start from verse 1.
Verse 1, okay. 2nd Ezra 13:1. And it came to pass, after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea of that it moved, all the waves thereof.
All right, so now he's dreaming a dream. He's getting a vision, Ezra, a deep vision, which the Most High gave Ezra the most heaviest visions. Okay, and then it said, so he was getting a vision of the actual comeback of the Lord. He actually saw it, saw a whole real event of him coming back. This is no simulation. He saw, when the Most High give you visions, it was the actual account. He put you there, you know what I mean, in that vision. So this is what he's seeing. Okay, in the visions, you can see, smell, and feel everything, man. Okay? So that's why it says, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea that moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, keep going. You can read from verse 3.
And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. Mm-hmm. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth felleth when it feeleth the fire.
Yeah, so it's all about the Lord, you know. His fierce countenance when he's riding on top of the chariot, and him destroying things as he goes back. That's what that's talking about. All right, keep reading.
And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men, out of number, from the four winds of the heaven, to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Yeah,
so it's talking about all the other nations that were coming back to basically just imagine Independence Day. Okay, that scene where the what do you call it? The mothership, so to speak, which we don't call that, you know, over here. All right, it's the fathership, but the so-called mothership, right? And you look at the scene of Independence Day, the movie. You know, you see the big mothership, right, and you see all the aircrafts of all the other military nations fighting after, going to war with the ship. You know, flying around, shooting missiles at it, shooting guns. You know what I mean? So this is what he's seeing in these last days. All right. Mm-hmm.
But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain, and flew up upon it.
Yeah. So he looked, like I was describing before. He said, "But I beheld, and lo, he had So like I said, he had graved himself a great mountain. Meaning he just carved himself a mountain. Where is that missing piece of that mountain? He's looking for that because it was so big. Read that last part again.
But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain, and flew up upon it. But but I would have seen the region of or place where out the hill was graven, and I could not.
Yeah, so Ezra is saying, look, behold and lo, I had when he first saw it, he said, look, oh man, this man must have took a piece of mountain and just riding is on it. So he just looked around to see what piece of the earth, what piece of this mountain is missing. He looked in the horizon. He didn't see nothing. Everything was still intact. All the mountains were still there. The earth was still intact. That's how big it was. And he looked and found that everything was still intact. And he said, wait a minute. He said, and after this I beheld, and lo, he said, and lo, it says, but I would have seen the region. It said, but behold, and lo, I had graved him a great mountain, and flew up upon it. But I would have seen the region or place where out the hill was graven, and I could not. So he couldn't find where this piece of missing earth was because why? It was never missing. The Lord was riding on a chariot. Okay. All right. Or a whirlwind, or a spaceship, so to speak. All right. Okay, that's why it says, but I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. Keep going.
And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight.
All right, that was the point. So that shows you the image or the visuals of the comeback of the Lord, that he was riding on a chariot. You know, he was riding on a so-called UFO. All right. So if Ezra said and looked around, he looked around to see what region of the earth was missing, and he could not find nothing missing. The earth was still intact, right? Or when he was looking into the plains, everything was still intact. Then what is the Lord on? What is he riding on? It would have to be no other than a chariot of the Most High, man. It would have to be no other than a spaceship or vehicle, or chariot of the Most High. Okay? That the Lord is riding on. And it just told you that in Isaiah 66:15 that he's going to be riding on one. So that's the direct precept to that. Okay? Now let's go to Psalm 68:17. Okay? Alright, quick fast. Psalm 68, verse 17. Matter of fact, get Habakkuk 3 and 8. Yeah, that's a small book. I'll read this one. Okay, this is Psalms chapter 68, verse 17. It says, the chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them, as in Sinai, in the holy place. I'll read it again. It says, Salah. The chariots of God are 20,000, all right? Even thousands of angels. And that's true. Why? Because the Lord himself, when he was dying on a cross, or when he was being abused by Israelites, and he was among Pontius Pilate, right? What did the Lord say when he was getting hit in the face or being smitten in the face? He said, "My angels are thousands of thousands, and if they were here, they would fight with me." You know, so basically, the Lord was saying that's proof that he was gonna come back with his angels, man. You know, because he's not come back by himself. We proved to you through the scriptures that we're showing you right now. He's going to come back with thousands of angels, man. And he told you he was going to do that in a sly way, not sly way, but he told you he was going to do that when he was getting beat and smitten in the face, spit in the face, beat up right before he got put on the cross. He told you he was going to do that. You know, so that's true, and here's the proof to that. The chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them. See, the Lord is among them. Didn't he say that right before he died? The Lord. All right. He said, if my men were here, they would be here and fight, man. Okay. As in the holy place. So that's another proof. Okay. What you got?
Habakkuk 3 and 8.
Come.
Was the Lord displeased against the rivers? Was thine anger against the rivers? Was thy wrath against the sea? That thou doest ride upon thine horses and thy chariots of salvation.
Yeah, so it says, was the Lord displeased against the rivers? Was thine anger against the rivers? Was the wrath against the sea, that thou didst ride upon thine horses and thy chariots of salvation? There's another one showing you. It says, thou ride upon thine horses and thy chariots of salvation. Okay? So it tells you right there, and it's a question mark. It tells you right there. Ride upon them horses. What horses? The chariots. Because what other thing would the angels would be riding on? It says horses and thy chariots of salvation. Now it tells you right there that the chariots, if something's going to save you, right? We're basically saying that the chariots are going to be the piece that's going to save you. That's why it says the chariots of salvation. Okay? That's why it mentions the chariots of salvation. So now you already know with this script that what's gonna be the piece to save you now in these last days. It would have to be the chariots.
Huh.
Why? Because it just said the chariots of salvation. So when the Lord comes back to save, right, and He's for salvation, wouldn't that involve the chariots? Because He just said what the chariots are. They're part of the salvation tool, man, or so to speak. They're part of the salvation, the rapture. They're part of that. They're part of the instrument to use to save. Okay. All right. That was it for that. Get Zechariah 5:1. Okay. And at the end of the show, I'm going to look up, for edification's sake, what chariot is in the blue letter. You know what I mean? As you know, Nas, he's usually on this show. He's usually the computer guy too. This brother's new, so he's still being familiar with the blue letter Bible. Just for edification, brothers know out there, being familiar. You know what I mean? So Nas is here. We don't have him here to pull up certain stuff, but we're riding in the spirit right now. We'll be all right. Okay, so we got Zechariah with 5:1. Okay. All right. While you're looking for that, let me see what else I can get. Okay. Let me see.
I got it right.
Got it.
5:1, right?
Yeah, Zechariah.
Okay. Zechariah 5:1. Then I turned, and I lift up mine eyes, and I looked, and behold, a flying roll.
That's a classic one. All right, that's very simple. Okay, that's very simple, man. And it's kind of upsetting if you can't get that. Then you're not a man of the Lord, man. If you can't get that simple scripture, you're not a man of the Lord. You're not going to be saved only by missiles. All right,
and that's the going to the people in the church. They'll try to spend this some other way.
Okay. Yeah. So read it again.
Then I turned and I lift up mine eyes, and I looked, and behold, a flying roll.
Yeah. So it's very simple. He turned, he looked up his eyes, and he saw a flying roll. Obviously, what's a roll shaped like? A roll. Okay. Because for something to look like to be called a roll, it would have to be a circle.
A saucer.
All right. It would be like a saucer, a flying saucer, or a roll. All right, and it would literally have to roll. If it can't roll. A square can't roll. All right, but a flying roll. But with that, chariots can be any shape too. It doesn't have to be a circle. It could be a triangle. It could be square. It could be any shape. But in this particular one, it's called a flying roll. All right, flying tells you that's a chariot. That's proof the Bible's in the scriptures. So once again, are the churches bringing this out? No. Are they the men of God? No. Are they set up by God? No. A true man of God is going to bring out the truth of the UFOs, or chariots in the Bible, man. You have to know that to be saved, man. There's no way around it. All right. How you gonna explain to other people how are you gonna escape the destruction of America? The men of the Lord are gonna escape the destruction of America by being beamed up in the chariots. You know what the proof to that is? Is the song that the slaves used to sing.
Sweet Low Chariot.
Yeah, say it again.
Sweet Low Chariot.
Yeah.
Come and take me home. I forgot.
Yeah.
How the song goes.
But they get the point.
Right.
Swing low, swing chariot, and carry me home. If you know about that famous thing that the slaves used to sing, which proves that the slaves are Israelites, why else would they be singing that, man?
How did they know that song?
How did they know the song? It's in their spirit. It's in their spirit, man.
They didn't know anything.
Yeah. They were forbidden to read the scriptures, man.
Right, come on. They couldn't even read, let alone read the scriptures.
Come on. So that's something another thing that these pork chop preaching pastors, man, that have direct lineage and link to the Southern lifestyle and their ancestors go back to slavery, they can't even bring that out, man. That used to be an old song that the slaves used to sing. Swing low, right? Swing low, right? Because why? When the chariots of the Most High come to save the elect, they're going to come swinging low. Right? And they're going to beat you up, and this is what? Carry me home. Where's home? Where's home, Israel? The nation of Israel. Home is Israel, man. The land of Israel.
Yeah.
That's our home. Overall, the whole planet, but headquarters or the capital, so to speak, the capital of earth is Israel, man. That's why it says swing low, chariot, and carry me home. Basically, if we were to change the language, swing low, spaceship, swing low, UFO, and carry me home. Talk about the home is Israel, man. Another proof to show that chariots is talking about UFOs, man. Once again, are the churches bringing that out? No. Are you Christian dummies bringing it out, man? You better, all right? Or, the Lord's going to deal with you, okay? There was more?
That's on that one.
That was it? All right. Let's go to, what time is it?
5:25.
Okay, good. A while, halfway through. All right, let's prove more scriptures. All right, let's go to Psalms 104. Okay. Okay, Psalms 104. All right. Got it?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, read.
Psalms 104. Bless the Lord, O my soul. O Lord, my power. Thou art very great. Thou art clothed with honor and majesty.
I'm sorry, yeah. Psalms 104 and 3.
Psalms 104 and 3?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Psalms 104 and 3. Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters? Who maketh the clouds his chariot? Who walketh upon the wings of the wind?
All right, that's very plain once again. I'll get Revelation 1 and 7. It says, who layeth the beams of his chambers, all right, in the waters. All right, basically it's describing who's the one who created the earth, who's the one who set up the earth and put water in its place and land in its place. That's why it says, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariots. It says, who maketh the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. It says, who maketh the clouds his chariots. So it says that clouds can take different forms. Chariots can shape-shift. So that's why it says, who maketh the clouds his chariots. So clouds can shape-shift into clouds. They can the Most High's chariots can be invisible. The Most High's chariots or Most High's space vehicles can be as small as an atom. Okay? Okay. The Most High's vehicles can be as small as an atom or as big as the sun. Or as big as planets. You know what I mean? And there's, once again, there's footage of UFOs all over YouTube. You can look at plenty of them now. Of course, you're going to see fake shit. But there's some real stuff too. You know, it's up to, the spirit will let you know what's real or not. Here's a point of advice. If you see a video of a spaceship crashing, you already know that's a damn lie. There's no such thing as a vehicle of the Most High crashing. It's impossible. The Most High's vehicles cannot crash. All right, they're spirits. The spaceship, the UFOs. Excuse me. The Most High's chariots are spirits.
So basically, that whole Roswell, that shit that happened in 1930 something, that shit was bullshit. Esau did that as a distraction, letting you know, yeah, they crashed, and then we got the remains, and we're doing scientific research on these beings. Yeah, So basically, yeah, we have the knowledge and understanding of these UFOs that crashed, and we're not releasing to the public.
Yeah,
because we have that power.
That's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Esau will take a little bit of truth and twist it, man. But he's a damn devil, and he's doing his bidding. But as far as a chariot's crashing, that's a total joke. All right. Would it run out of gas or something? No. The spaceships do not. The Lord's vehicles do not crash. Now it says, "Who walketh upon the wings of the wind." Okay. Obviously, if it says wings, who walketh upon the wings of the wind, all right, tells you that it's describing a chariot, that it flies in the air, it goes with the wind. To be wings of the wind, you would have to be flying. Okay. I got a precept, 68, verse 17. Okay. Psalm 68, verse 17. The chariots of God are 20. Oh. We already got that. It's like we already read that one. Yeah. Come on. All right, what you got?
Okay. Revelations 1 and 7.
Yeah, come on.
Revelations 1 and 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him.
Well, plain. I mean, you already know who that's talking about. First of all, it's the book of Revelation. Number 1. The book of Revelation means to reveal. Okay, because this whole book is revealing in detail a lot, man. It's
harsh revealings.
Yeah, it's harsh revealings, like the brother said. Or how you I think when a woman gets married, it's something called a veil on her face with old traditions. You see on TV and people or your family members get married.
Right.
I don't know if they do it no more, but they used to have a veil, and when you get married, you bring back the veil. And you see your wife's face. Same thing with Book of Revelation. The Lord's bringing back the veil and revealing to you all the details of the last days. Even details of the Lord, what he looks like, the 12 tribes of Israel, the Esau, the nations. Talks about World War I, World War II. Talks about the plagues that's going to happen in the nuclear destruction. It talks about everything, man. It's Book of Revelation. But namely, the comeback of the Lord. So, let's tell him right now. Say it, read it again.
Behold, he cometh with clouds.
See, come with clouds. Didn't we just read in Psalms that the chariots are clouds? Right? Matter of fact, he cometh with clouds, right? Let's go to Acts. Go to Acts. Because we just proved to you that clouds are chariots. Right? We just proved to you that. Now, we read in the book of Revelation, he said, behold, he cometh with clouds. Who the heck is it talking about? It's talking about the Lord. That cloud is a so-called UFO. Now, let's go to the book of Acts when the Lord, go to the first chapter, look around the first few verses, I think it's 6, 7, that talks about when he was beamed up. Okay? Start from like 5 or 4 or something like that. All right, now now we're going to go to Acts, when the actual account when the Lord, when he died, okay? And I believe, for 40 days after, correct me if I'm wrong, he was walking the earth after he was crucified and woke up from the dead, and rose from the dead, that he was with the apostles showing them miracles and what they were going to do in the last days. But with that, there was a time for him to be beamed up or translated, like we're talking about. And we're going to read the actual account, but keep your ears open for a key word. All right. Okay, you found where to start from? Go. Just
I found it doesn't really say, give a count.
All right, go to Acts. Start from. All right, go to. Okay, go start from 9.
Start from 9.
Matter of fact. Yeah, start from 9.
Okay. Acts 1 and 9. And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight.
A what?
A cloud.
Read that again.
And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld.
Now, who spoke these things? It's talking about the Lord. You look up the verse above. It's in the red letter. If you have the red letter edition Bible, it says, "And when he had spoken these things," because he was talking about the kingdom. He said, "When he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up." Okay, he was taken up, right? Taken up, and it says what?
He was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight.
And it says a cloud. Once again, a cloud received him out of his sight. So it shows you, we're proved right there that what? The same way the Lord was beamed up and taken away is the same way he's going to come back. He's going to come back in the same fashion. He was beamed up by a cloud. He's going to come back by the cloud. We proved that to you in Ezra, the 13th chapter. We proved to you in Psalms, what? 104 and 3. That was the cloud is known as the chariot. We proved in Psalm 68, was it 68? 17 or something like that, that the Lord's going to come back with his chariots, thousands. We proved to you in Psalm 66, he's going to come back with fire, like a whirlwind. Psalm 66 and 15. So we've proven it to you through the scriptures, man. Now, are the church proving that? Is the Christian church telling you the truth of the Bible? The truth how the Lord's going to come back? See, the church tell you, they're prosperity preachers. They're telling you he's going to come back with I love you cards. Thank you very much.
Right.
Keep doing a good work of being demons.
Yeah.
You know, oh, don't worry, I have mercy on you. Do whatever you want, but I still love you. No, it don't work that way, man.
Right.
All right? We telling you the truth. He's going to come back to put you to death and to save the elect. And then, you should be very fortunate and blessed that the Lord died for all of you to even make it into the other side. Talk about the 2/3 of Israel.
And what is it?
Okay.
Another one that they say, oh, we don't have to go by the laws and statute of commandments because Yahweh, they say Jesus died for us on the cross. So all our sins and all our wickedness, whatever, has been forgiven. No, it's not. You still have to abide by those statute, those laws, statute, and commandments of the Most High.
That shows your faith, man. Following the steps and keeping the Lord's ways after he's gone is showing you faith, showing you trust in his system, which is the commandments, the statutes, and the Holy Bible, man. You believe in his spirit. You believe in the foundations. You're going to carry out what he did because you're trying to be that. Right? Just like if you were a master dojo, master of, for example, like Bruce Lee. He died. He left his teachings to, one of his students. I think it's James something. I forget his name. James something, one of his students or brother. He left it to him, his partner. And after he died, his partner carried on Jeet Kune Do. He carried on the same things that Bruce Lee left. He did everything what Bruce Lee did. He warmed up how he did. He practiced how he did. He did all the stuff that Bruce Lee taught him to do, and he did it. And he taught it. Now he teaches Jeet Kune Do. He did it with accordance. He didn't veer off and do nothing else.
Right.
Why? Because he was a follower of Bruce Lee. Same thing with the men of the Lord. You know what I mean? We're if you believe in the Lord, you're supposed to follow him, man. Follow his commandments. Do what he did. What did he do? He prophesied to his people, man. That's what you got to do. That's what the men of the Lord got to do. You got to follow the same way how the Lord did. You know what I mean? The same way. And that's what the GMS have proved to do. Not only what the Lord did, but all the ancient prophets. The garments of sackcloth. They're not with diamonds and looking all elaborate. Just regular garments.
That's it.
You know what I mean? Have more beard. Right? We have a beard. We don't shape up. We keep the Sabbath, the holy days. You know what I mean? We follow the statutes the best way we can. We can't keep it completely because you got to work on the Sabbath. You're wearing mixed cloth. When you wear mixed cloth in the scriptures, that's you can't do that. That's a transgression of the law. We follow our dietary laws. We honor the holy days. You know, we try to speak the same language that the Lord spake, the Lashon Hadash. We know the Lashon Hadash. We study the Hebrew. This is what it means to really believe and love the Most High, man, Yahweh Shemashai, and the Lord. You got to do what He do. Now, you can't say you love the Lord and you out there fucking with no beard in your face. You out there not prophesying. You're not out there condemning the so-called white man, condemning other nations.
Committing adultery?
Yeah, you're not committing adultery. You know what I mean? You out there trying to do the same thing the prophets did. Okay? Yeah, just do verse 9 again.
Okay. The Acts, first and 9. And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in the white apparel, which also said, Ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven?
Yeah, so there are two basically angels right next to I'll read it. It says, and while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel. So there were two men, really angels, that were standing amongst the apostles, and they were looking up with the apostles, and they said, it says, Ye men of Galilee, why you stand gazing up into heaven? This same Yahushai is taken up from you into heaven. So shall so come in like manner, and as ye have seen him go into heaven. So the same way the Lord went in the heavens is the same way the Lord's going to come back. Told you right there. Told you right there. So how did he go? He went by clouds. He's going to come back by the clouds.
Okay.
What are the clouds? We've proven to you is so-called UFOs, man. You know what I mean? When you come into this truth, when you come into learning about the truth of the Most High, Yahweh Shemashai, learning you from the 12 tribes of Israel, that you're an elite nation, you have to know that you have to know about the chariots, man. How the hell are you gonna explain and prophesy about how we're gonna be saved in the last days? We're gonna be saved by the Most High come back with the holy chariots, the holy space vehicles, whatever you want to call them, to beam himself. If you want to laugh at it, laugh while a missile hits you in the head. All right. Anything else?
I believe that was it.
That was it on there, right?
Yeah, I probably myself went to.
What time we got?
5:40.
All right, we got give them 15 more minutes.
Okay.
All right. Now let's go back to you're holding Revelation, right? Revelation. Right, you holding Revelation 1 and was that 1 to 7 or something?
Yeah.
Okay. Quick fast. All right.
Revelations 1 and 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him.
Yeah. Every eye shall see him. Okay. Keep going.
And they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth.
Yeah. Keep going.
Shall well because of him.
Okay, so yeah, so it said every eye shall see him, and all right. Read that part again, slow.
All right. Revelations 1 and 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, And they also
every cloud, it comes with clouds, and every eye shall see him. So if every eye is going to see this cloud, right? It would what's going to be seen by everybody, like we said before. Well, doesn't that sound like the Ezra's, Second Ezra, the 13th chapter, right? When the Lord's going to come back, when they were Elijah was looking for the Ezra was looking around for that the region of mountain that was removed, the piece of earth that was graven, and he couldn't find a region of the earth removed, right? That's talking about the comeback of the Lord. So that what you're reading now in Revelation is talking about the same thing in Ezra, the 13th chapter. Okay, why? Because every eye shall see him. You know, just like every eye saw the Lord come back in Ezra the 13th chapter. John the Revelator is getting the same revelation. Okay? Same revelation. Okay? Was that it on that?
And yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let's go to let's see. Alright. Just speak on the chariots real quick. I'm gonna look for something else.
Yeah, like we're saying, the church, they prophesying false doctrines. Even with the whole what is it, I'm trying to think of what it is, where they talk about being beamed up, as they talking about the rapture. The Lord, picking up, gathering his people and rapturing them up. Well, okay, who's rapturing you? And how are you going to get raptured?
Yeah, and the word rapture comes from the word rape. And we know that if you know your words out there, we know the word rape, according to etymology, means to take by force. So I can have a woman, my woman I'm happily, let's say, married with, and if she's sleeping or whatever, she's cooking or whatever, I don't know, I grab her ass and have sex with her, but we're still laughing and enjoying ourselves. That's a rape.
Right.
So rape is not the comic book image that CNN and Fox News talk about. Rape just means to take by force. All right. It doesn't even have to involve a woman. In this case, like the brother talk about rapture, is talking about the Most High. So when the Most High, the rapture, when he comes back, he's gonna take by force the elect. You know what I mean? He's gonna take them. And that's what that means. That rapture.
Right.
All right, we're gonna finish up. So I'm trying to find like 2 more scripts. Bear with me 1 minute. Bear with me, but you know what? Let's get okay. Let's get 2 Thessalonians. No, 2 Thessalonians. 1 and 6. Okay. Okay, you got it? Okay. Got it? 2 Thessalonians 1 and 6.
Hold on, let me get
Alright, okay. 2 Thessalonians 1 verse 6 says,
I got it. Second Thessalonians. You said 1 and 6, right?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I got the wrong one. You know what? Let's go to Isaiah 31 and 5. Okay. I got it.
Yeah.
All right, you read.
Isaiah 31 and 5. As birds flying, so will the Lord of hosts defend Jerusalem. Defending also he will deliver it, and passing over he will preserve it.
Okay. What was that, Isaiah?
Yeah, that was Isaiah.
31 and 5.
Right.
Okay, read that again.
Isaiah 31 and 5. As birds flying, so will the Lord of hosts defend Jerusalem. Defending also he will deliver it, and passing over he will preserve it.
Well, see, that's plain, man. It says, as birds flying, right? It just painted a picture. As birds flying, so will the Lord of hosts, who's the Lord of hosts? The Lord of hosts is who you even call Jesus Christ. His name is Yahweh Shai. He is the deliverer in the Hebrew. As birds flying, so will the Lord of hosts, or as birds flying, so will Yahweh Shai be flying. That's what it's saying. Tells you right there. As birds flying, so will the Lord Yahweh Shai defend Jerusalem. All right? Defending also, he will deliver it. See? So if he's flying, and then he says he's going to fly and defending Israel, who's he going to defend Israel from? The so-called white man in the Third World War. He's going to be defending us. Because when the third world breaks out, the Lord's going to interrupt that war. So man, when this third World War breaks out, which we're looking for, it's right there, man. You got America having sanctions as of this week. What's today's date? November 12th. Can you check real quick? Look at Shaw. Okay, I believe today's the 12th. November 12th, 2017.
Yeah, today's the 12th.
Today's the 12th, on a Sunday. All right? As of this week, you had America causing more sanctions, I think a full load of sanctions on Venezuela, man. We already know what's going on in Venezuela. Venezuela is in cahoots with Russia and China. They have their own little group as far as having their own currency and building their economies back through their own money. You know, because all the common theme past 10 years that all these countries are dropping the dollar, man. You know, you got the euro that's worth more than the dollar. You got the Yemen that's worth more than the dollar. Now Venezuela, as far as trade is concerned, they just dropped the U.S. dollar. They don't want to use the U.S. dollar no more. Why? Because they know the U.S. dollar is shit, man. Okay. The U.S. dollar is not worth nothing. Okay, it loses value every second, man. Okay. Why is the U.S. dollar losing money? Why? Because it's linked to the chip. For the RFID chip to come into play, right? Which is the mark of the beast, according to Revelation, the 13th chapter. The American dollar has to crash. All right, it has to go down. So things are not going to get better in America, man. That's what I'm telling you, dummies, man. And you dumb churches out there are fucking are one-on-one with Satan. You're one-on-one with the so-called white man. You're a joint accomplice. What's the term? You're joint conspirators with the so-called white man in America.
They hand in hand.
Yeah, they hand in hand because you ain't there telling. You're not out there. You're prosperity preachers. You're not out there You're not telling the downfall of America. You're not out there warning the people about the coming calamity that America's going to face. And America is dropping the dollar. That's why things are going to get worse and worse and worse. The stock market's going to crash. You know what I mean? So the signs of America going down is there, and this point is we're talking about Venezuela, who has just dropped the U.S. dollar, and now, as a retaliation, America has put all these sanctions on Venezuela. So now, no other country can trade with Venezuela now. You know, or there's going to be a problem with that with America. Right. So what does that entail? That tells that why a lot of war is gonna spring forth between Venezuela and America now, man, big time.
That's funny you said.
You know, just one more point, because and that's a sign of another big start to World War III. It's already going on between North Korea and America and Russia, but this other front is now between Venezuela. All right, and all right, which adds another part to this World War III. So the signs are there. So this is very good, man. Now, when this really breaks out in the bigger level, you better look to the sky, man, because the Lord's going to interrupt World War III, man. It tells you that we're reading that in the scriptures right now. So this is a good thing, man. That's what we're looking forward to, World War III. We know that the Lord's going to interrupt that, okay? And he's gonna defend his people from that war, okay? You have something to say real quick, and we'll go back to scriptures.
And Venezuela, they're on edge right now, you know, because they're preparing for themselves for an attack by the U.S. government, being though they dropped the dollar now. So now they got their guns ready, they got their their military ready, just in case if anything goes down with the U.S. attacking them. Because the U.S. is very grimy. They're very revengeful. If you do something, if you wrong them in anything, they would do some type of false flag, anything to get back at you, to destroy whatever you have left of your government or anything like that, especially with these other countries. So Venezuela, they're on edge right now. They're on edge. They're preparing for war, for that World War III, because it's all gonna happen all at once.
Okay, that was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Read that again.
What was that? Isaiah
31.
Isaiah 31.
5. I got it real quick. I'll read it. 31:5 says, as birds flying, so will the Lord of hosts defend Jerusalem. All right. Defending also, he will deliver it, and passing over, he will preserve it. So he's going to deliver the nation of Israel, namely the elect. The Lord has already delivered all the nation of Israel through dying for them, but he's gonna really come back to save the elect physically, all right, from the destruction, and the 1/3 of Israel. And he says he will preserve it. He preserved the nation of Israel. We're gonna end it on that. We have two more. I want 2 more scriptures I want to use. I can't find it. There's one great one in Exodus. The fire by day, a cloud by day, a pillar of fire by night. That's in Exodus. Mm-hmm. I'm using my phone for the blue letter. I can't really use his now, so I don't want to run off and be too But anyway, that was one script. Okay. A cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. That was talking about a chariot. That's in the book of Exodus. That's when the children of Israel were being led out of Egypt by the hand of Moses through the power of the Most High. The Most High Yahweh Shai, which was the Spirit of the Lord anyway. The Lord came in the form of a chariot. Okay, and was leading him out. Okay, and it says by cloud by day and fire by night. That was the Spirit of the Lord leading him out. But that spirit was an actual UFO. Okay, or an actual chariot of the Most High. Today it will be a UFO. And that was the light that was leading the Israelites out of Egypt. Okay. And that's major, man. That's a major. Like, you don't hear that in the churches, man.
Nope.
I mean, that should be when you see these movies on Moses or these cartoons, they should include that part in there because there's a major part. That a UFO led them out. That they only knew where to go because they were following the UFO out, which is a spaceship or a chariot of God. And there's another good scripture in Revelation I can't find where it talks about Apostle Tar was I remember he brought it up when I first saw the breakdown of it was the big tripod. John the Revelator saw that. He talked about a huge chariot that hit 3 parts of the earth. It was that big, which was basically the mothership. Excuse me, the ship that the Lord was riding on.
Okay. They showed that on Independence Day.
Yeah.
It covered like the whole, like that whole city.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was so big and huge. Everybody was just like looking up in the sky, like wow, like
yeah.
It covered the whole sky. That one ship.
Come. So that's it with that. There's many more proofs.
Right, there's many more.
Many more proofs on the chariots and UFOs in the scriptures to prove what I missed Ezekiel. I didn't go to Ezekiel. There's Ezekiel, the famous one. Talks about who's riding in the chariots. Talks about there's many chariots. Scriptures that show chariots are going to be causing destruction in America. We just read one in Isaiah 66 and 15. We read the proof for you there. Okay, so we covered a good basis of it, and Lord willing, you were edified. Okay, and we proved to you that there are so-called UFOs in the scriptures, and they have many different names in the scriptures as whirlwind, chariots. Well, now you know there's chariots, whirlwind, clouds, a fiery wheel. Okay, wheel within a wheel, a flying roll. All right, so with that, Lord willing, we pray that you're edified. All praise to Yahweh Shemai Shai. Double honors to the apostles of GMS. Salutations and greetings to the brothers in this country and all over the world. Prophesying in the name of the Heavenly Father in truth. And shalom. See you on the next show.
Shalom.